Next on the programme, self-employed workers, freelancers, or those on 0 hours are more likely to face unwanted sexual behaviour, according to a survey for the BBC on workplace harassment. More than 6,000 British adults were asked about the types of behaviour they'd faced and where it happened. The research suggests that 2 in 5 women had experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. For men, it's 1 in 5. Industries like hospitality, retail and the public sector are said to be most at risk. It's an issue we've covered on the programme for some time. Last month, we gathered together an audience of people who'd all experienced sexual harassment in different industries.
So I was working as a kind of waitress and bartender. It was 0 hours contract job. It was minimum wage. And over a period of months, I was kind of sexually harassed by one of my managers.
What does that?
Well, like kind of calling me sexually derogatory names, like slapping my bum. It culminated at one point where he took me into a kind of private room where the managers did their admin work and said, "This is the room where we have sex with our employees."
Please. Let's talk now to Amy Stoneman. She is a waitress and says she is harassed so much at work she wears a ring on her engagement finger, even though she is not engaged. Also with us, Tim Martin, the boss of WorkInConfidence, which encourages workers to speak out. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
On average, Amy, how many times a week would you say that you are sexually harassed? And by what sort of people?
It would be every single shift that I'm on. So, you know, whether I'm working 5 days or 2. So, you know, sometimes if it's a match day, so you've got kind of your football fans, it's a lot more. If it's a busy night out, again, it's a lot more. It generally tends to be males from the age of about 20 to all the way up to 60. That's
all the way up to 60.
Yes,
and is it comments? Is it touching?
Both.
What sort of things?
It's all. I've had worst case scenario. I've had someone ask me to have a look at a picture on their phone, and it was a picture of their penis. And I've had men, you know, trying to kiss my hand, which I suppose was at some point some kind of romantic gesture, but now it's not. In our society, it was very strange. I was trying to pull my hand away and it wasn't working. People, you know, trying to touch my hips, trying to move where I'm going, called me baby, those kind of patronising things. I've had men, you know, it's all these compliments of how, you know, pretty my face is and things, but, you know, they're all talking about it with their mates and they're about 40 or 50 and it's very intimidating, I suppose, especially when you're behind a bar. And, you know, I'm only 20, so, and I've only been in this job for 3 months. And I haven't done anything like it before then, so it started from the offset.
And are you wearing the engagement ring?
I am now. I didn't start wearing it to ward off men. It was my grandmother's, and I always wear a ring on this finger, and I can't, for my own reasons, can't wear 2 rings on one hand. So I always wore it on this one. And then as soon as I started working, I realised how effective it was at getting rid of men, really.
It works.
It really does. It's just a more advanced way of saying, sorry, I have a boyfriend, I suppose. And I just, you know, kind of flash it and then they'd leave me alone. And I always thought it was because men respected men more than they kind of respected women and their own rights to their bodies.
Whoa. Gosh.
And, you know, so they see us as property and they don't see us as property of our own. They see us as the man that owns us.
Belonging to someone else, the fiancé.
So that's why I feel like it's a very easy way of getting rid of them. Other than, you know, if you just say, no, I'm not interested, a lot of the time they persist and persist.
Yeah, because they think they can persuade you. What do you think, Tim, of what Amy's had to do, effectively?
I think it's terrible. We are in a terrible state with this. It happens far too much. I think your survey this morning has shown that almost 50% of women in the workplace are harassed at some stage sexually. And of those, around a quarter will feel they can raise it. That is fundamentally wrong.
You provide a platform which allows employees to anonymously report, don't you?
It enables people to WorkInConfidence lets people anonymously contact their management and discuss things. Because one of the things we found was a lot of people won't raise harassment or bullying because they're scared of the impact on their job. They're scared of how their colleagues will perceive them. And they think they won't be taken seriously. So we give people a route to chat to management anonymously until they might get comfortable with speaking forward, but at least organisations can find out about the problems they've got, because unless you know about a problem, you really can't tackle it.
How's it going to change? How is the culture going to change?
I think a few things. It's horrible. It's needed Weinstein and Parliament to get this on the table, but at least it is now on the table. We've got to hope that moves carry on. I mean, last week the Equalities and Human Rights Commission wrote to most of the top businesses in the UK saying, what are your policies for sorting sexual harassment? What are you doing about it? And how are you sorting it? And that's a good step forward. What we've got to do is keep the pressure up. And at the end of the day, as consumers, we shouldn't be dealing with businesses that don't treat their staff properly and put in place systems that enable their staff to be treated properly.
Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you. Tim Martin from Speak in Confidence. Amy, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Amy Stoneman, thank you. Thanks.